Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode review. This time we will be reviewing episode 25 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, the rematch between Yugioh and Neil, Part 1. This is only our second duel so far in the show. That is going to be a multi-episode duel, the last one being Yugioh versus Roa, when Yugioh defeated Roa in the Sevens Road Rush Hall at the very end of the first arc, episodes 12 and 13, and we are at the end of the second arc and potentially the first season here in episodes 25, and then of course next week will be 26. So that's kind of a theme here early on in Sevens. When the arc is about to end, when the season is about to end, that's when we get our duels that are a little longer. And so what did I think about the episode as a whole? I really loved it, and I'm sure you guys probably could have guessed that I would really like it, because number one, I really enjoy Neil's character. Number two, I love maximum summoning. I love seeing these massively, ridiculously sized, ginormous, as Gakuto said, monsters. And then number three, I love Easter eggs. And this episode had some of the coolest Easter eggs and trip down memory lane, kind of backstory on the history of dueling. We probably have not gotten anything like this since the statue episode in Zexal. I can't remember an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they took 5 to 10 minutes to go over kind of the history of dueling and how it was established and created within that universe. I love the world building. I love the Easter eggs. And of course, you know, Summon Skull, one of the Harpy ladies, Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Vorse Raider. I think Swordsman of Landstar was another monster. I think those were all the monsters that we saw. But one of the coolest Easter eggs, and I actually uploaded a video a little earlier on it today, so if you have not seen it, definitely check out that video. Jack Atlas's D-Wheel. And it was for a split second. Jack Atlas's D-Wheel, are you kidding me, is in this museum. Remember, Yusei Fudo actually created that D-Wheel, and then Jack kind of stole it from him. But I go all into that in a video down below, so I'm not going to spend too much time discussing my thoughts on it in this review for this video, but I loved it. And again, I will link that down below if you want to hear me just kind of go off on one of the coolest Easter eggs Yu-Gi-Oh! Has done in a very long time. So I like the episode a lot. Let me just say this, though. This might be the first time, and again, even though I like the episode, this might be the first time where I'm a little weary of where the show is going. I haven't felt that way with Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's thus far, and I feel that way with every Yu-Gi-Oh! At some point in time, where I'm a little nervous on the direction of the show. This is the first time, I'm being honest with you guys, that I am a little nervous when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's. And the reason for that is everything seems to be happening very, very quickly. Episode 23, Neil defeats Yugioh and maximum summons to do it. Here in episode 25, after a one-episode buffer, we're already getting our rematch, which is very, very quick for a rematch when a protagonist loses to a character. I think of Yusei versus Kiryu. I think of Yugi versus Raphael. Whenever those, or Kaito versus Yuma, even though Kaito didn't win, but he smoked Yuma the first time they dueled. When I think of those matchups, it's taken a long time before the rematch has happened. And I don't need 10, 15 episodes, but at least 4 or 5 episodes I think would fit a little better. And if Neil does lose next episode, at the end of 26, at the end of the arc, which I think is where we're headed, and Neil kind of disappears after that and isn't really relevant to the story anymore, I'm not really gonna be a fan of that decision. Because then in 4 episodes, in a 1-month span, we had Neil defeat Yugioh, and then we had Neil lose to Yugioh and get his maximum summon nullified in the rematch. That just seems very, very quick to me. And Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's has not made me feel this way about the direction of the show ever before. And I knew it was just a matter of time, because it happens with every show, it happens with every Yu-Gi-Oh! And I very well could be wrong. But my concern right now going into this finale, and I think it's valid to talk about, because I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, they're rematching already. My concern is Neil defeats Yugioh, or Yugioh defeats Neil, excuse me, and then Neil kind of goes away from the story for a while, maybe even the rest of the show, and then episode 27, whatever the new threat is, it's going to be going after the existence of rush duels again trying to delete rush duels, and it's going to kind of feel like a little bit of a soft reset. We've been here before. That's my concern. I just feel like at that point it would get a little repetitive, and I feel like it would be kind of a disservice to what Neil has done for the show, kind of bringing these characters to gravity a little bit and grounding the show in reality a little bit, if he is written off after losing to Yugioh so quickly after getting the shock win against him in 23. So I'm a little nervous for that, and I hope I can look back at this and say, you know what, I had nothing to worry about. Episode 27 was great. The new direction they're going in is awesome. Neil is still very much a threat. He's still very much involved. I'm just a little weary of where the show is going, which I think is fair, and I hope you guys let me know your thoughts on that down below. But even though that's my overall thoughts of Sevens right now as this duel proceeds, and you guys know I've really enjoyed Sevens up until this point, I like this episode, and there's nothing, I guess, to worry about until it happens. I mean, you know, so let me get back on track to the episode. They start by going into the Goha Dueling History Museum, which again was amazing. I've already kind of outlined all the references that we saw. The duel disc was very prehistoric. The interesting thing to note, no extra monster zones on any of these duel discs or on any of these fields. So that probably makes you think that there might not be links in these Goha duels. I remember when Yugioh Reigns very early on showed us one of their boards and there was no pendulum zone. I said after like episode 8, I even did a video on it, why there will not be pendulums in Vrains, and guess what? Pendulums were the only summoning mechanic that did not show up in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. So I think there maybe is a little bit of intuition to take here that links probably are not going to be a thing in this universe. I don't even think we're going to see a Goha duel. I think every duel in this show is going to be a rush duel, so that probably doesn't even really matter. And it's so fitting that you're going over the history of dueling. Obviously, Yugioh and his friends are trying to implement another style to go to the history of dueling, which is rush duels, and Neil is waiting for them, which is a perfect stage for the finale between Yugioh and Neil, and potentially the finale for rush duels. If Yugioh loses, the last ever rush duel in history will take place at the Dueling Museum, and rush duels will be a piece of dueling history because they're no longer a thing. They will be something that is, you know, outdated after 10 years and in the past, and that's what you see when you go to a lot of museums. You see things that were relics and very important monuments and statues and pieces of art way back in the day, and that's basically what rush duels is going to be if Yugioh loses. So I thought the location for it symbolically was very, very awesome. Sebastian was a little weary about them dueling inside because of Neil's potential to maximum summon. The people around were very excited to watch it happen, and that's what happens. Neil gets his maximum summon off pretty early in this duel. He summons Drago, the Heavenly Emperor tree, a massive, massive, ginormous monster. I think it looks even more intimidating in the daylight. Neil goes a little more in depth with the effects. The main dragon head makes it so that it cannot be affected by traps. So Yugioh's initial tool to try and get a trap off to destroy Neil's maximum obviously is negated and does not work. The other two effects, it can destroy a monster on the field, and then it can switch a monster from defense to attack. So it looks like Neil is actually about to deliver an OTK blow, very similarly to how he beat Yugioh the first time he summoned this monster, but Yugioh had a trap, I believe it was called Wonder Guard, which let him send a card from his deck to grave to negate any damages or to bring the damages to 0, and so he survives. And then we get some really good exposition and narrative on what happened at the end of last week's episode, episode 24. I said it in the review. A lot of you guys said it in the comments. We knew something was going on that they were not revealing to us. When they defeated Otis, Roman, Rook, and Gakuto, and when they were talking to Yugioh. We could tell by the camera cuts that there was a deep conversation about a plan that they wanted to implement that they were not going to reveal to us probably until this duel started, and that is the narrative and exposition that we get in this episode right before Yugioh draws and gets his maximum off. And basically, Roman, Rook, and Gakuto, I thought it was a very wholesome, heartwarming moment. I thought it was a really, really cool moment. Sacrifice their dual ID cards so that Yugioh can use their dual ID cards to turn them into maximum cards. They basically made it so that they can never duel again, just to give Yugioh a chance to defeat Neil. And the reason they did it, Yugioh has had a profound impact on every single one of them. And that's why it's important to be kind to your friends. And something I loved, when Yugioh's first told about the plan, he was like, I can't do this. I can't make it so that you guys can never duel again. I can't accept that. And Roman and Gakuto and Rook all started laughing, and they were like, we thought you were going to say the exact opposite, because you're always so gung-ho to try to create a new road and create a new thing. And I think that kind of said to me, that's the exact reason why they were okay doing this for Yugioh. Because Yugioh is so gung-ho to create a new road and a new invention whenever he gets a chance. But the second that it jeopardizes any aspect of any of his friends' lives and motives, that's the moment that he puts a halt to it. That he puts a halt to his own road, and he says, no, I can't do this because this is going to impact your life too greatly, and I just can't do it. And that's the exact reason why Roman, Rook, and Gakuto were so comfortable with allowing Yugioh to basically delete their accounts in order to create Maximum. We see Yugioh code in the Maximum. Kaizo allows him to do real-time rush duel programming. It's very protagonist-like, but you know what? Gakuto did this, Neil did this against the top of Hexagon right before he dueled Yugioh, so I don't see it as giving Yugioh an unfair advantage. They are on an equal playing field, baby. They are on an equal playing field. Neil did this and blindsided Yugioh, and now Yugioh is doing it to blindside Neil. Turnabouts, it's fair play. They both have a Maximum monster. Yugioh summons his super Magitech deity, Magnum Overroad. It was an awesome, awesome summoning. This massive, massive mecha. Not the one that we got in the opening. That one did look a little different. And not the one I believe that we saw in the flashback of the very first episode. Not the flashback, but kind of the foreshadowing in the first episode. But we might not even see that as a monster. That just might be there for symbolic purposes, that Yugioh was going to summon some sort of giant robot, which is obviously his Maximum summon. So that's how the episode ends. Episode 26 will be them just trading blows through their Maximums, and I am super excited to see how this duel ends, but I am also a little nervous to see where the show goes after Yugioh defeats Neil. Assuming Yugioh defeats Neil, is that kind of the end for Neil? Is he still going to be around, but in what capacity is he going to be around? Is he still going to be a threat? Is he still going to be kind of a rival for Yugioh? Roa's role in the show has definitely changed pretty greatly from when we first saw him. We thought that maybe at the end of Season 1, as he was dueling Yugioh, he was going to be that kind of rival, douchey rival that we get in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but now he's kind of turned more into an ally of Yugioh's. I don't know if I would really like that if Neil fails to stop Yugioh's roads and rush duels from becoming worldwide, if then Neil becomes an ally of Yugioh's right off the bat, right at the start of the next arc. I don't know if I'd love that. So a little concerned with where we go from here, but the Sevens writers so far have not given me any reason to doubt them. So maybe I'm just kind of fearful for no good reason. I mean, I kind of am, but, I like to give all my thoughts. And even though that's a concerning thing that I have going forward, again, I really, really loved the episode. The exposition on Yugioh going through the Maximum summonings, the duel history, the Easter eggs, it was all amazing. So guys, thank you all so much for hearing my thoughts on 25 of Sevens. Please leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, and Aura Dragon, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, Pegasus Seiya, and Anime Kaput, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons, Chase Connelly, and XZ's Lover 104. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon and who is a YouTube channel member. You guys are amazing. I stream over on Twitch. A link for that is down below, Mondays and Thursdays. And yeah, I will talk to you guys all things Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.